your mind against you for a good time. You just might be exposed to things you didn't know about before. 'Cause we're amateur reality hackers. We are amateur reality hackers. Let's start the show.
All right, and welcome to Amateur Reality Hackers, everyone. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Today we are with Dick Valentine, aka the lead singer of Electric Six, aka Tyler Spencer. And then, of course, we also have Devin with us as always, but his shit's kind of glitching out, so he may or may not be in this episode. We will try to get him in as best as possible. How are you doing, Dick?
Yeah, I'm good. It's a new year, and I don't have any resolutions whatsoever. So that's I feel like I'm just kind of moving into a new year without any new beginnings or new hopes or new feelings, and it feels great.
That's excellent, man. That's just maintaining the course. That's what can
I
be
mean,
better.
normally I was like I'm gonna try and do 200 push-ups a day, that kind of thing. But then I just realized I'm leaning into my 50s. The push-ups aren't going to get me anywhere at this point. So it's let's just no more resolutions. Let's just embrace what you've already done.
Yeah.
Let's just build on top of that. You're sitting on top of a pile of your entire life, and let's just reside on top of that pile and don't change anything.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's don't reinvent the wheel. I know that you have a family. How's the family doing, man?
Yeah, they're good. They're at school. So that was nice because we had like a 2-week break. So it's great having them home, but after a while, you value your free time, and that's the only way to get it.
Yeah, no, totally understand. That's my little guy is off at school right now also. So that's first day back, and I'm feeling the same vibe right now.
Yeah, it's a sweet relief for sure.
It is. So I know you, of course, have your own solo projects. You have the band. What's new, hot, fresh? What's coming up? What's on the table for you?
Sure. So my next solo album, I just sent it off and uploaded it to for digitals. So it'll come out very soon. I always self-release. I just do mail orders and sell them at shows and stuff. And of course, it's all available on the digital outlets as well. So the new album's called "This Is Hell," and I think it's my 8th solo record, and so it'll be available in the next few weeks.
No shit. Hey, that's awesome. So I know that your solo stuff and Electric Six stuff seems to deviate a little bit, and then you also what's the other group you have that's kind of a little bit more of an electronic thing?
Oh, Evil Cowards, and so we're really we talk about doing album number 3, but I think it's going to happen. I think I'm going out there in the next couple months to have a crack at album number 3 for Evil Cowards.
Fuck yeah, man. I honestly I love the fact that you have kind of different styles for each project. It's a good way to look at your range.
Yeah, it's how you work. I mean, if you work record with John Nash for Electric Six, you're going to get a certain sound. Record with Will Bates for Evil Cowards, you're going to get a certain sound. And then I have no idea what I'm doing personally, so it's like I just kind of go into a studio and I don't ask what kind of guitars or drums they have available. I just there's a drum set, let's hit it. And that's how I go about it. I don't really obsess over geeky stuff. I just try and get something done.
Well, that makes sense. So I know that you had that one studio that you were working in that was pretty close to your place. Do you notice that there's a major difference for you considering your approach and the equipment you do have or the studio, or is it just such a kind of carefree approach to the art that those things seem to be irrelevant?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I've just never been a geek about equipment or gear or for me, just basic bare bone recording sound is good enough. So when the studio opened up, I mean, it was proximity, and then the engineer that I got assigned to the first time I did a record, we just hit it off. He completely understood what I was doing, so I've used him every time, and it just works. And he gets that. I'm not looking to spend weeks or months tweaking everything. I just want the stuff done. So we kind of go in there with that mindset that we're going to knock out like 5 songs a session, and the songs are done within like 4 days. So it's how I like to work. I've bands that I gravitated towards as I got older were kind of like The Fall and Guided by Voices, where you're not like, you can hear mistakes all over their recordings, but within those mistakes you hear like a really beautiful song and stuff, and then so it's just all about output, and just getting songs out there. I've never related to people who spend like 7-8 years between albums. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Okay. No. And you can see that reflected very heavily in your work. It's definitely.
Yes. So
Yeah.
there are some clams and some mistakes, but you
But
just
no, I didn't mean that. I just more meant like the high octane. You got a lot of stuff that comes out. You're good, man. That's,
I hear you.
yeah, no, and then, let's see. You do you've been doing a lot of the YouTube videos also. Has that just been kind of like a cathartic thing, or has that just been like to keep engaged with the fans, or?
Well, I have a Patreon page, and for whatever reason, you can embed audio on Patreon, but you can't like have exclusive video. It has to come from Vimeo or YouTube. Like, you have to copy
That's
and paste the link. It is very weird. So it's like that's the reason I have the YouTube page. So it's like, the Patreon started as like I'm just going to do acoustic covers, and it evolved into other things like podcasts and stuff. But yeah, just to stay true to doing covers, I just put them up on YouTube, and so it's like probably most people see the stuff for free, but every now and then, there are people who just want to kick me some money. So that's how that works. So, and on the Patreon, I do other things like podcasts and other fun stuff. So it's just it's a thing. Patreon kind of got me through the pandemic. It was an outlet, because I'm so used to touring, but during the pandemic, that was what I was concentrating on, because it's pretty much all I had.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And I mean, your Patreon has great content. I definitely suggest anyone that's on here watching or listening to check it out. I'm sure I'll have a link below. I pointed, but you couldn't see it on the camera, so that just looked like I moved my shoulders awkwardly. Let's see. Then you also have your books that you put out. You're more actually of you went to school for literature, correct? Like for being for English?
Absolutely. Yeah, I did to get an English degree. I don't know if that made me a better writer. And the thing about the books I do is, I mean, they're not, if I sat down and tried to write a serious book, I don't know if I could do it. I mean, the thing that gets the things that gets these books done is that they're not to be taken seriously. They are like, they're very comedic. And so like with that comedic element, then I actually go back and then you see, I've actually like written a competent mystery. There's actually a story there. There's actually like character arcs and stuff, but I don't think I could just write a book where there's not the comedy element up front. So that kind of allows me to get through, is that it's tongue in cheek, but then underneath it, it's actually a legit book.
Yeah. No, that's and that, like, I've been listening to the audiobooks, and that's
I think if I sat down and tried to write something quote unquote serious, I would never finish it. So that's at least for writing books, I have to have it be sort of ridiculous.
Gotcha. That makes total sense. And is that just again kind of like the same reason why you wouldn't geek out on the equipment? Just like it's not of interest to you, or is there?
Yeah, that's. I mean, honestly, like when I started playing music, it just never, like, what guitar I was playing just never really mattered. And like you could sit me down maybe in an hour and convince me that there's slight differences between playing this guitar or that guitar, but like left to my own devices, I wouldn't really hear it. And then once you do convince me that there are differences, I'd be like, okay.
yeah, that makes sense.
Sounds cool.
So
yeah.
When did you start music as a career? I've never thought to ask that.
Oh, as a career, well, that started for me when we got our first record deal. So that would have been about 2002. Mm-hmm. I started in high school as a drummer, kind of a shitty drummer for some, like high school bands. I mean, and then when I got to the University of Michigan, my roommate had a guitar, and like while he was at class, I would just kind of grab it and start teaching myself. And then I started kind of writing songs on guitar and then fronting bands around the age of 22. And then we started the Wild Bunch, which became Electric Six, when I was 24. And so it was about 6 years of being a local band in Detroit. And then 2002, I would have been about 30 years old at that point. So 20 years of doing it professionally.
Gotcha. That's really cool. I mean, that's also, I guess, something for people to look at that are kind of hitting their 30s and they're distraught about the fact that their life hasn't suddenly become some magical adventure yet. It's like, maybe you're just hitting it.
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky. I mean, I was definitely, I was in the process of going back to school to get a teaching degree. I was thinking maybe I'll teach high school English or something. I was kind of early into that process, so I wasn't anywhere near a classroom at that point. And then we got the record deal and just started touring, and have not stopped since then.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. I actually, high school English teacher would make a lot of sense for you. It kind of fits your personality too, man.
I mean, I was early 30s, and working in cubicles. I worked in, as a barista at coffee house. I had some driving jobs. So I mean, I worked and I was like paying the bills, but like, it wasn't like a career. And so I was thinking I got to do something, something more career like, and that was the direction I was going on. And then the Fire album happened, and it's just kind of gone in that direction ever since.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Now, so here's another random one. I mean, honestly, I'm just winging it here, so I didn't fucking write anything down. Never do. Last time we talked, it was for my other podcast, and so it was kind of more focused. And I was trying to dance around this question with that one. What's the craziest shit you've just ever seen out on the road that you can talk about without fucking up any friendships or getting anyone arrested?
I mean, I mean, there's definitely intra-band things that I've seen. I don't like. Yeah, I've learned.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I learned the hard way that, like, if you say anything, you're gonna get a text or an email like, "Listen, asshole."
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Feel free to keep Vegas rules how they should be. What needs to stay where it is to stay where it is. But
as far as outside the band, let me think about that. I mean, I don't. The thing that always comes to mind maybe is I had we played in Chicago. It was I think at like Logan Square Auditorium. This is maybe 15 years ago, and we're doing Dance Commander, and like in the middle of the song, some guy comes up, and he's got a wad of bills like at his crotch, and he presses it into my crotch area, and he says, I have some money I need you to deposit into my bank account. And like, this is the middle, and like I guess it doesn't sound that weird, but like it was like a weird moment. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And like, I'm like parsing this, like why do you need me to deposit into your bank account? And that's a lot. He had like legitimately a lot of money. And I think sometimes there was definitely stage security, but like somehow he got on stage and they weren't doing anything. I've seen that many times too, where there's like legitimately a stage security guard. Somebody gets on stage and the guy just sits there.
No shit.
Yeah, I'm like, this is your job. Get this guy off stage, and it's just like some big guy just going, like he's not there to like actually like do anything. He's just there to go do this.
Yeah. That's seem intimidating, just in case.
Yeah. Well, there was a we played a show in Columbus, Ohio, and like we went backstage, and like 2 minutes later, some guy was like, "Hey, does one of you guys play such and such guitar?" And our guitar player was like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, well, some guy just went on stage and took off and ran down the street with your guitar." And so the first thing, and like there was a stage security guard. He's like talking to some girls, and we're like, "Hey, man, somebody just stole our guitar like right off the stage. The one you're supposed to be guarding." And he just looks at us and thinks about it and goes, "That should not have happened." Well, yeah.
Oh fuck! Understatement of the fucking year.
Yeah. And that was funny too, because the guy who stole the guitar was wasted, and our guitar player caught up with him, and like he saw him like shoving the guitar under a car or something like this. The guy was like shirtless, and it was like, "Hey man, you're stealing my fucking guitar." And he was like, "I didn't steal your fucking guitar." Just one of those things. So yeah, I mean, you deal with that stuff from time to time. There's a lot of people out there, but for the most part, it's a well-run machine, and it goes pretty smooth.
Nice, man. Well, that's good to hear. And I mean, I guess part of why I was wondering about the craziness is more just, you kind of have an image of what more rock star life is like. And I know that you kind of defy that in a lot of ways, just having talked to you for a while and known you for a while. But there's also alcohol involved. So you got to figure that people in the audience are just acting a fool every once in a while. And you kind of have this bird's eye view on the fucking madness. And so that's
yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think when we started 20 years ago, it was kind of the you know, it was the last gasp of the of music industry that kind of coddled and you know, maybe tolerated you know, the drunk, elegantly wasted musician. That just doesn't play anymore. It's just, I don't know if it's like because of record companies are making less money or that, and it's just the whole, like, you know, you just venues, no one puts up with it. Like, so you can't just like get in a band and be a dipshit all day long. You have to like answer the bell at 9 in the morning. You can't trash the stages. You can't trash dressing rooms. Like the kind of, you know, I noticed like when we started, like everyone's like, yeah, he's out of his mind. It's glorious. And it's just, you know, but it just doesn't play like that anymore. So you have to be on top of it. You can't, you know, you pick your spots, you know, on nights off, you can, you know, you can drink your face off, but yeah, for the most part, you have to get to the next show. You have to get the money, and it's just, you know, it works. If everyone's on the same page there. And I've noticed that just other bands, support bands, it's just not as shambolic as it used to be. So you know, in that regard, it's you know, you're dealing with a lot less dipshittery.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So I you were saying that things started for you 20 years ago when you got the record deal. So then I have to assume that you have both independent stuff you've done and major deals you've done, correct?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, we've been on Metropolis Records with the band for a very long time. We had our first record came out on XL, our second record came out on Warner, and then since then it's been Metropolis. We've done we did that the covers record Streets of Gold with Cleopatra Records. Everything I've done solo has just been self-released. I think it's just I don't have an aversion to working with publicists or record labels. I just also like if I can do it myself, I there's more value. Like if you broke it down, like say, hey, if you put this out on a record label or you got a publicist, you could make 20% more money than you are making now. I'd take the route I'm taking. I'd take 20% less just to not deal with people.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at there.
And that makes sense. And is it just genuinely because then there's less hands in the kitchen kind of
Exactly.
thing?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I found that like, you know, if I have a solo record and you cut somebody else with an opinion, they're going to say like, hey, why don't you change this or change that? And it's like, you know, like I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want anything changed.
Yeah,
So
no, that makes total sense.
I mean, it's a Dick Valentine record. It's low stakes, so it's like, you know, I don't want to be dealing with you know, somebody getting their fingerprints on this when it's, you know, it's going to sell 2,000 copies anyway. You know, it's just like let's just not worry about it. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, at the same time, it's almost like that carefree attitude about it. It allows you to have some artistic integrity that other people don't.
right. I mean, it's yeah, it's you know, so I get to do the best of both worlds. I get to, you know, ink a contract with like a 4-page contract and all these like boilerplate stuff, and I get to sign those. And then when I put up my own shit, you know, it's just you know, I just like, hey, I got a record. Who wants it? So it's
Cool.
it's fun. Yeah.
Do you go through? Do you just like personally print them out, or do you have someone that you go through for the printing and distribution of those? Or, I mean, obviously not the distribution, but just the printing of those albums, or?
Oh yeah, there's a couple. I have a CD maker in the US and one in the UK, so I just kind of go between those. Yeah, and then you know, if like for instance, going to Australia, I'm gonna have some records, and you know, hopefully I can fly in and not get nabbed at customs or something like that. Usually,
Well, you know, they might destabilize the ecosystem. You never know.
yeah, I mean, it's you know, you're not supposed to do those things, but again, it's low stakes. I mean, when we go to Canada, like obviously, you know, bringing merch, you know, in across the border and stuff, you never know what you're dealing with. And like, you know, they one time, you know, the Canadians asked us, "You guys have any merch?" And we're like no. And like, oh damn, we wanted a free CD. Like, you know, it's like, so they're not like looking to tax us or like confiscate our shit. They just want a free T-shirt. So you never know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Well, hell, man, that's all sounding really good. And you were saying the new album is called
This Is How. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Is there any spotlight tracks on that one we should be looking for when it comes out?
I did all the tracks at Figure Eight Studio with there's a song called Life on a Loop, which I did here, and I did it. It's not 100%, but most of it is just my daughter's kind of Yamaha organ that she learns piano on. She has a piano teacher, And so I found this sound that I just really loved, and like it's just that. So I just mic'd it up, and yeah. So like Life on a Loop, I actually did at home, and yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. So yeah. Other than that, the only person who's heard it so far is the guy who did the cover art, and he just said it's it's just like a smorgasbord of all my different styles. So
Nice. That'll be
yeah,
great.
yeah, he likes it. So
Cool.
yep.
Well, I'm sure the rest of us will too, man. Let's see. How about shows, tours, anything like that going on currently coming up?
I'm off for 2 months. The band goes to Australia for the first time in 15 years. No, 17 years. In March. So we're doing I think like 8 or 9 shows in Australia and New Zealand. And then yeah, our I know we're doing the 20th anniversary of Fire in the UK at the end of the year. So we got to plug in the rest of the year after that. You know, we'll do some summer shows, I think, in the UK, and then tour the States in September.
Nice. Right on,
Yep.
man.
And then finally the new E6 record comes out this year too.
Oh, fuck yeah. What's that one called?
It's called Turquoise.
Turquoise.
It's a pop record, I think, and you know, this is the first song on the record is called "Take Me to the Sugar." I think it's the best song of ours in a long time. So I'm excited about it. It's a great pop record.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I hope hope the whole thing goes viral and that it gets all the publicity and admiration that it should.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we used to do an album a year, and now this is like our first record in 5 years. And
yeah, you've got other stuff going on though. I mean,
yeah, it's we get kids and stuff, and it's just I can't even fathom doing an album a year at this point. So you know, and we proved our point. We proved our point. So it's
makes total sense.
yeah. So yeah, it's staying busy and staying out there.
Awesome, man. And one last thing real quick, because I know you got to get going here very soon. January is your birth month, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Well, fuck, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. I share the same birthday with Guy Fieri, so it feels good.
Nice. There you go. Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, anyway, man, I think that'll be it for this one, and we can let you go so that way you can take care of your shit. And that's
I love that we had the watcher here the whole time.
I know that did definitely just turn it. Do you exist, Devin? Were you saying anything?
No, I tried, but I don't even know if y'all hear me.
No one heard anything, dude. You've just been a still screen this whole time. That's awesome.
And I've been just sitting here rocking around and just
yeah. I thought you were gonna say I tried, but I don't even know who this dude is. That's what I thought was gonna come out. It's great.
No, Devin's heard your stuff, man. You're a good guy and an amazing artist.
I've heard all about this Valentine guy.
Yeah,
your reputation precedes you, man.
The first interview, all I've heard is "Don't forget about Dick. Don't forget about Dick."